The immediate future of the World Rally Championship is finally close to being settled. Months of uncertainty over future technical regulations and a difference of opinion between the rulemakers of rallying, the FIA, and its manufacturer participants will finally come to a head this week. A dossier outlining technical, sporting and promotional changes to the WRC in time for 2025 is being compiled by the WRC Commission, which will be lodged with the FIA by Saturday, May 11th, 1 month to the day before the governing body's meeting of the World Motorsport Council. This World Council meeting should finally answer the one question that's been hanging over the WRC for months now. What will a Rally 1 car look like in 2025, and how many of the FIA's radical proposals will be adopted into the new regulations?
Before we look at the possible answers, let's look back at how we got here.
More than 12 months ago, at last year's Croatia Rally, FI Road Sport Director Andrew Wheatley sat in a restaurant in Zagreb and tabled an initial debate with the manufacturers. Wheatley asked one question: what does the future of the World Rally Championship look like? Debate was stimulated and continued throughout the summer of 2023. In September, FI President Mohammed Ben Sulayem spoke with the manufacturers again. The message had crystallised into the need for clear direction from the governing body. In Baku on December 5th, the announcement came of a WRC working group established by Ben Sulayem and led jointly by FI Deputy President for Sport, Robert Reid, and World Motorsport Council member David Richards. This subcommittee was made up of several World Motorsport Council representatives. Gary Connolly, Ronan Morgan, and Andrew Malaleu sat alongside Wheatley himself and Xavier Mestelampino, the FI's Chief Technical and Safety Officer. Retrospective calls for stakeholder involvement in the working group, be it from WRC promoter, rallies, or the manufacturers, fell on deaf ears. From the outset, the WRC working group was always an FIA initiative. The group was tasked with producing a consultation paper considering technical, sporting, and promotion aspects of the WRC within a fortnight. And later in December, the working group met with manufacturers and the WRC promoter in London. The manufacturers were clear in their request for no significant change. Then, at February's World Motorsport Council meeting, the roadmap for the future of the WRC was greenlit by said World Council. The key aspect of this roadmap was the news that the current Rally 1 car would be retained in a performance-reduced form. Hybrid would be removed, the current 36mm air restrictor would be downsized, and the car's aerodynamics would be trimmed. These modifications were aimed at reducing costs and performance. Conversely, Rally 2 cars competing on WRC rounds would have the option of fitting a kit to include a larger air restrictor and exhaust, a bigger rear wing, and an optional paddle gear shift. Additionally, sporting changes afforded rallies greater freedom with their itineraries, while the bigger calendar picture would look to accommodate the inclusion of sprint-style events and longer-distance endurance rallies. There were also changes to the service park infrastructure, including the potential for a return of remote servicing and the implementation of a WRC promotion team within the FIA. The end of the road on the roadmap is, of course, the beginning of the new regulation cycle in 2027. The next 2 years are a transition into 27, which is very much the FIA's bigger picture, with everything on the table, including internal combustion, electric, hydrogen, hybrid. The governing body's due diligence to the next generation is admirable. But back to 25 and 26. What was the response to the Rally 1, Rally 2 discussion? Through March, debate on the merits of the so-called Rally 1- versus Rally 2+ proposals raged on. The teams felt they'd been sidelined in the debate, and WRC promoter wanted current cars to remain into 2025, feeling the time frame was too short to implement such changes as early as next year. In a somewhat rare demonstration of unity, all three WRC manufacturer teams came together in early April to send a letter to the FIA requesting that the current Rally 1 car, complete with the existing hybrid units, a 36mm restrictor, and a full aerodynamics package, would remain in place. The dossier being compiled for next month's World Council meeting will confirm that direction. The stakes could hardly be higher. the manufacturers have all made clear that significant technical regulatory change could bring their future WRC participation into question. Hyundai had expressed concerns about the timeline of these changes being confirmed, as they'd had to pause development on what it called a very strong development of its i20N Rally 1, which, Dirtfish understands, was essentially a brand new car. Championship leader Thierry Neuville had already set off alarm bells in March when he started talking about the possibility of retiring at the end of the season, not by choice, but from potentially not having a seat the following year if Hyundai were to suddenly withdraw. It's hard to ignore the manufacturers. Toyota, Hyundai and M-Sport have made it clear, without them, there's no party. Equally, it's hard not to feel sympathy for the FIA. Teams demanded direction, the FIA took that mandate and acted on it, only to be roundly criticised for suggesting changes it felt would introduce more cars to the sharp end of the competition. The time has come to decide whether 8 or 9 Rally 1 cars is acceptable for the next 2 seasons, or is it time to significantly narrow the difference between Rally 1 and Rally 2 cars, potentially delivering more drivers to the podium? The proverb, "a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush," comes to mind. One way or the other, the debate is about to reach its conclusion with a decision that will define the next 2 years of the World Rally Championship just around the corner. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell to know first about how this momentous crossroads for the WRC is finally resolved.